Hello, yoga friends. My name is Therese. I am here today to give a seminar on back bends and forward bends. So hopefully you've done a little bit of exercise before you just start into this, because this is real specific for back bending and forward bending. And you can always pause the video and come back to it later to make sure that you're warmed up. I'm excited to be here today to give you just a little tutorial on the idea of why we back bend, why we forward bend, and putting the two together to make the actual resistance and the counter to it. And it's just a fun way to move your body. Very important for your back to do back bending and forward bending, but always make sure that your doctor approves, especially the forward bending can be a little bit edgy for some. So with that in mind, we will begin in just a moment here. 2 blocks if you have them, or something that resembles a block, maybe a nice book or something solid, not a paper cover book, but a hardback. And maybe a towel for your knees as well, or a blanket. So with that in mind, we'll begin our back bend, forward bend series. And I'd like you to start on your belly. We'll be in what we call crocodile pose. So crocodile pose takes your palms on top of each other. I always like to ask people to put their non-dominant palm on top, because then you came out of habit to do it. And yoga is about finding awareness and finding consciousness. So if you take your non-dominant on top, your elbows go wide, your forehead goes down to the mat, and your forehead rests on that top back palm. Think about widening and broadening through the shoulders, pulling the energy through the body by lengthening through the great toe side of your foot and drawing your ankle bones together. Can you soften your glutes? Can you follow your breath? Can you feel the breath moving through you? Can you hear the breath moving through you while you lay in this position? You might even be able to smell the breath. Maybe that's a good thing. It depends on what you had for lunch. But notice the breath is very different when you're in a prone position, because you are pushing on your belly with the floor underneath you. So your diaphragm cannot come down and really press into the organs like it does when you are vertical or seated. So it's a very different breath pattern when you're laying on your belly. So I'd like you to figure out how to enjoy that. Some people find it a little bit irritating, but just enjoy it, something different. You're filling the backside of your body with air. So as you rest here, forehead on the top palm, and the belly is going to rise, but the air gets pushed into the back part of the body. It gets pushed in through the shoulder blades, which is where your heart is. And it gets pushed into the kidneys, just above the hip bones. So fill that part of your body with air. Notice that your kidneys, they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, filtering for you, filtering toxins, so give them rich oxygenated blood. Cultivate a mantra for your work, and just start to melt your shoulders, relax your body. And as you bring yourself into the practice, you stay present in this moment. So we work back bending and forward bending as pairing. So we'll move ourselves into Sphinx pose now. Sphinx pose has palms flat, fingers wide. Your shoulder and your elbow can be in one straight line or anywhere forward from that line. Not backwards, because you notice it curls my shoulder down and it closes my heart. So when you get comfortable with Sphinx, you'll automatically kind of just move your arms into it. But while you're practicing, grab those elbows with your fingers to get the right adjustment from the right and left side of your body. Then reopen the arms and lift your breastbone up. Feel your thighs engage. Feel your shoulder blades come down your back, and feel your ankle bones coming together. So this back bend called Sphinx pose is a beautiful way to start your practice. You can drop down into this. You can soften into it in a lengthening position. You can widen the legs a little bit for a little softness. I'm already warmed up, so I can take it to the full expression of the pose here. We'll turn our head to the right. Inhaling back through center, exhaling to the left. Inhaling back through center and chin drops to the chest. Be curious how your body feels. Shake out your head. No judgment, no criticism, no expectations. Just follow breath in and out. And bring yourself back up through center. Finding peace in this moment with your nice inhales and exhales. So benefits of Sphinx, it strengthens your spine. You can feel that. You can feel the stretch it's bringing through your chest and your lungs. You can feel the stretch through your shoulders and your abdominals. It firms your buttocks, stimulates your abdominal organs, and helps relieve stress. So back bends are wonderful energizers, and that will help relieve stress. So let's take this Sphinx now into a child's pose, dropping knees out wide to the sides, drawing the great toes together, settling in with our torso right between our thighs, and stretching our arms long, reaching out, pushing hips back. If they don't go back, don't worry about it. You might be up in the air here. You might be putting a blanket underneath those thighs, between the thighs and the calves, maybe a bolster or a pillow. It's all good. Whatever makes you feel good in the practice is what you do. You rest your forehead down. Now this is your forward fold. This is countering the back bend that you just did. So we work to counter poses, forward bending and back bending. We may do a couple of them first or stay a little longer, and then we counter it. But you always want to come back to symmetry of the body by countering the poses. So as I sit back, my heels and my hips are getting closer together. I'm breathing. I'm going to walk all the way to the right side to stretch out my side body. So my left hip needs to push down towards the heel as I walk my hands to the right. I'll take my left palm and place it on the back of the right hand. And you're dropping your forehead to the mat. This microphone is a bit of trouble for that type of thing for me right now, but for you, forehead down, maybe on a block or stacked palms or something for your forehead down. Then as you walk back through center, you push those hips back a little further. You've made some space. Enjoy it. Walk to the left. Push that right hip down. It wants to follow you left. You just say no. You're going to settle down into that heel. And then the right hand goes on the back of the left hand. Settle in a little deeper. You're lengthening from the waist through the fingertips in one direction, and from the hips all the way down to push into the heels in the other direction. You've taken the weight out of the hips, and you're enjoying that the shins are taking the weight for you as you stretch back to child's. So from child's, we're going to move it up to table. If table position is tough for your knees, Then I would invite you that you do your cat-cows either seated, and I'll show you those first. Cat-cows can be done with crossed legs and hands on the knees. You would round the spine and bring the knees up to the forehead, and then push the knees down and lift up from the chest, the neck, and the head. So this rounding would be your cat pose, and the pressing down and lifting up would be your cow pose. If seated doesn't work either, you can also do your cat cows, which are great forward bends and back bends. You can do them kind of in a little chair position. So your hands would be on your thighs, and you would round down, hollow out the navel, round that spine, round the shoulders, and then zip up and lift up into the cow. So you notice that I've got the little saggy back that you have when you're on hands and knees, and the belly forward and the tail way up, shoulders back and head lifts. Then it rounds again into the cat and lifts up into the cow. I'm going to take the rest of this on hands and knees. If you're doing cat cows and any of those other positions, feel free. So shoulder, elbow, and wrists have to be in alignment. Palms have to be flat and fingers out wide. Notice that you want your knee and your hip in one straight line as well. And as you move through this cat-cow, you feel the fluidity of the body. So feel that spine, and you're enjoying that richness of tail lifting high, shoulders pulling towards hips, lifting up out of the heart, crown of the head reaching high. So the movement's through the tail. Notice my tail begins first. I begin to take it underneath. I round out my spine. I broaden my shoulders. I really press through the palms, pushing away from the knees. Chin into chest, mid back high. And then I start all over again. Instead of firing through cat-cows, really luxuriate in them, because they give you this peace, they give you this flexibility, they give you strength, they give you length, and they're a wonderful forward bend and back bend for your back. So you want to be healthy in the back, and those are two movements that the back has to do every day. So now we're going to turn those palms a little bit more outward and maybe towards your knees. If that's not working for you, please don't take it that way. And again, let's get that spinal flexibility, lifting it up into the cow pose. Let's round it into the cat. You're going to really feel this one in the inner aspect of the arms, especially if you do computer work. Chin to chest, drop it down, lift the mid back, and again, pull it up into the cow, and one last time into the cat. Conscious movement decreases stress. Bring it back center, and as you turn those palms slowly to the sides and then slowly forward, you'll drop down onto either one back of the hand at a time or both of them. Elbows go wide, hips push back. Just push some weight into the backs of the hands to get those wrists happy. So now we're moving from this table, and we're moving into our cobra shape, which is, again, prone. So we take the elbows out wide, glide through the floor with the front of the body, lengthen out through those toes, place those palms underneath your shoulders with palms flat and fingers wide. Can you pull those shoulder blades down and back and draw those elbow tips to center of the body? Forehead is on the mat, thighs are fired, pubic bones pushing into the earth, and the ankle bones have pulled together. You're like a cobra tail. You've got one long tail with those two legs glued together. It's a soft lift. You tighten all the muscles from the hips to the toes. Draw those ankles together. Use the neck and the deep back muscles to lift the chest. So a lot of times people want to just throw their head up in the air. Not a good idea. It's all about finding the strength through the torso to lift your chest up. Pull those elbows back. Breathe in, breathe out. Your inhalations will lift your body a little higher, so let's take a big inhale. Exhalations will automatically kind of drop you a little lower. You keep your back muscles engaged during all of this, but that's okay. The diaphragm is making this happen where your body is kind of coming up and down on that. This is to strengthen your diaphragm. Let's hold it up one more breath. Exhale down. Take those palms by your side, turn your head to the right, and wiggle out your tail. And then palms are staying by your side, head to the left, wiggle out your tail. One more time, back into crocodile. Just place your palms down, head down, bend into the knees, and point and flex through your ankles. So you're in a little back bend in crocodile. If you'd like to do this in Sphinx, you can come back up into Sphinx. We're a little bit more warmed up. It's easier to bend into the legs. You could be doing one at a time or both together. The feet will rotate. The shoulders pull back. The heart is lifted. The feet rotate the other way. And then we bring those legs back down, curl the toes under, slide the knees underneath you. We're coming back table. So if you're using a towel or blanket, place it under there. Many of you know the sunbird pose. We start with that right leg behind us. The heel kicks up, the toes pull towards the shin, and you want that hip level. So from that position, maybe you take the arm out, which would be your opposite arm as leg. So it's left arm, right leg. Your bicep is close to your ear. Your head looks down towards the mat. Pretend there's a mirror down there and you can smile at yourself down in the mirror. This is a great place to stay, or you can add a little bit more back bending to it and forward bending to it by drawing elbow in, nose to knee, and squeeze tight. Lengthen and reach and lift up. You'll notice I'm getting flexion and extension through my back. We'll take 3 of these, take them slow, take them meditative. Then when you reach out long, arm and leg, bend into that back leg, reach around, find those shoelaces. Once you've got the shoelaces, then you begin to kick your foot into the hand. You press the shin away from you. You lift that knee a little higher. You find more back bend. Take what feels good for you. Never overdoing, just enjoying. Breathe in, breathe out. Then we'll lengthen it back out long from front to back. Just the hand will come down to the mat. You'll kickstand out that bottom left leg. You'll draw your hips to stack. You're putting weight into that straight left arm. You've got a nice long reach of your body here. Lift it up. Bend into the knee and grab a hold of those shoelaces again. And find another back bend, a side back bend. Breathe in, breathe out again. Same technique. You're kicking the foot into the hand. You're kicking the shin away from you. When you take your eyes back to the mat, you stretch out long with the arm and leg. Let the arm come down first. Pivot that left leg back in and bring your right leg down. Take a moment here to press down onto forearms to relax the wrists and maybe swivel out the hips a little bit. And then reverse the direction. If you need more for the wrists to make them feel better, you can take any seated position you want. I'll come onto my shins, but you can go cross-leg. We'll start with hands at heart. So we got to take care of the wrists when we're doing a lot of those bendy things, down dogs, tables. So you'll open those palms like you're reading a book. The backs of the hands will touch, the fingers point towards your body. Drive the fingers down towards your legs, stretch them away, and pull them back together into heart. We'll do it 2 more times. We open the pages of a book, take backs of hands together, the fingers begin to point towards your body. Notice the elbows go wide, the fingers move down, out, and around, and back in. This really does feel quite nice on the hands and the wrist. Open, last time, backs of hands, bring those fingers towards you, down, out, and around, and back in. Breathe. And we're ready for side 2. Let's go. All righty. So we take that table position again. Take a deep breath in and out. Relax yourself. Take left leg out long. Toes down, heel up, level out that hip. And when and if you're ready, the right arm reaches out in front of you. Pull the shoulder back into the shoulder socket. This is wonderful shape to stay. We're working ourselves into a nice long reach. We're getting a little bit of a back bend here. Let's pull in, squeeze tight, round the spine, flexion and extension. Flexion number 2. Knee and nose coming together, or your arm can be on the ground. And extension. Last one. Draw it in, reach. And extend again. Beautiful work. Keep up that nice, slow, easy breathing. Keep your focus. Bend into the knee, reach around. You find those shoelaces. The foot kicks into the hand. The shin kicks to the back wall behind you. And you just open up into a beautiful back bend. Hold here, breathe. Follow that breath. Make it calm by focusing on it. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Nothing else matters but this moment. Stretch arm and leg. Reach it out. Just the arm comes down. Pivot the lower half of that right leg out. Roll to that knee. Roll to that extended arm on the right. And we've got our left arm reaching back to find the shoelaces. And we'll open up into a nice back bend here. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep that kick. When you create that tension and that resistance of pushing the foot into the hand, you easily create the pose. You have to be engaged. Stretch it out. Down with the eyes, down with the hand, back in with the leg, and the left leg comes down to the mat. So let's sweep ourselves around to our backside and we'll find happy baby shape. So you want to turn your body over onto your back and just grab a hold of the outer blades of the feet and rock a bit side to side, kind of massage out the work you did. Just finding your happy baby shape. Push those feet to the sky. We have to take care of our body. Every time we do shapes, we want to counter the shapes. Then you become whole by the end of the practice. And just draw 2 feet together, push the knees away, draw the heels to the groin, and try to lower your back onto the earth. Soften the shoulders and find that long, straight back. Breathe in, breathe out. And when we roll up with this, we can roll up our nose toward our toes and our toes toward our nose. And again, we're getting a rounding in the spine. So Pull both ends of the spine off the earth and just soften through the shoulders as you bring your nose and toes closer together. Heels are into the groin. And then we roll those legs back together. Head comes down to the mat. Hands are behind those thighs and roll all the way up and just balance at the top. Let me see where we're at now. I think that we've got to go to bridge pose here. Let me just make sure. Yep, we're on bridge pose. Setu Bandhasana. So bridge pose is a very good pose for new beginner yogis as well as seasoned yogis. So stay on your back. We're going to roll back from that baby boat we were in. Tuck it, round it, roll it back. And once you get down onto the mat with your back, your feet will drop. They come down. This is going to be kind of hard to do with this microphone on, but we've got a nice little bridge set going here. So when you set up bridge, you want your feet to be parallel. They're in a number 11 shape or an equal sign. So to get to that point, we scoop our shoulders under, we touch our fingertips toward those heels, and you'll notice then when your long finger can touch those heels, you are hip width apart, which is great, and your knee and your ankle are in a pretty good straight line, which is also great. So draw that navel in. So the navel lowers to the low back and the low back lowers to the mat. First bridge, just take a lift of those hips by pushing your tail right through your legs as you lift up and keep that engagement in this powerhouse area. Breathe. Weight in the feet. Feel the ball joints. Feel the 2 points in the heel. Feel more. That's what yoga is. It's about feeling what your body is doing. And then softly melt your spine back down. Articulating one vertebra at a time and hips lower. We'll draw that navel in, tail forward, and as our pressure goes through the feet, the hips lift, the arms lift, they come all the way back. Reach them back. And as we're all the way up as high as we go, we have finished our inhale, our exhale. The arms move quite slowly. The spine moves a little quicker so that everything lands to the floor at the same time. Inhale, lift it up again. Looking up towards the sky, always staying safe when you're in bridge pose with the hips high like this. You do not want to turn your head. It's not good for your neck to turn your head when your hips are lifted. So you might have to stop the video and take a look to see this pose and then cultivate it for yourself. And this is our last one with the flowing bridge pose. Feel the movement. You could always put a block between your legs when you do this, and then you've got that intention of pulling those inner thighs together. So next one, if you have a block, you need to take it out, because now we're going to do that bridge pose without using a block. Get those feet closer together so ankles are more close so the knees will touch, and draw in to lift up and hips lift, shoulders curl underneath you. You can interlace your hands down here if you'd like. Right knee is going to come into chest, right leg's going to lift. If this isn't for you, all you do is practice your flowing bridge. So we're pushing the sole of the foot up to the sky, long straight leg, and the hips just keep lifting from a lifted position. Breathe in, breathe out. Soften it, breathe it, enjoy it. And that's probably enough. We'll rebend into that knee. We'll take that foot softly to the ground. Squeeze those knees together again. Let's do left leg. Bring left leg in. Fire through that right foot so the right foot is really engaged into the mat. Kick through that left heel. Push it up to the sky. Level out those hips and lift, 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 lift. So feel the work, breathe into it, enjoy that you're in a back bend while you're doing the work here. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Softly rebend the leg and gently put it back to the ground. Push 2 hips high to finish up. Release your hands and lower your body slowly down. Work the spine down, 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 like you're moving pearls into sand one at a time. So we just hang here for a minute. We let our body equilibrate. There's no movement. There's no need to pull knees into chest yet. Nothing of that. Just sit. Just sit with peace. We have one more bridge that we're taking on each side. So let's navel in, tail forward, hips lift, legs are together at the ankles, shoulders scoop underneath you. And we'll lift that right leg up again, all the way up. We point the toe and we lower it down to meet the left knee. We flex the toes, we pull it back up to the sky. Point the toes slowly to meet the knee. Flex the toes, lift it up. Push into that left foot as you're doing this. Last one. And lift it up. Now take that knee out to the side, cross the ankle across the thigh, flex those right toes, drop that right knee down and push your hips high. So it's kind of like a figure 4 with your hips off the ground. Breathe into it. Pull knee back into chest, follow your breath, lift it up, softly bring it halfway down again, and rebend it. Remember to roll the spine slowly down, pearls moving into sand, and you can see the imprint, and just sit. Sit and breathe. This is our final part of bridge, so squeeze the knees together, ankles together, eyes are up to the sky, navel is in, lift up, push the tail forward, get nice and high, bend into the left leg, lift it all the way up, point the toes away from you, engage that leg as it slowly moves to meet the right knee, flexing the foot to lift the leg back up. You're getting a lot of nice glute work here as you drop down with that toe, lift up with the flexion. Good. One more time, point the toe away. One more time, lift it up. This one now, just take the knee out to the side, cross the ankle over that right thigh, flex the toes hard, snuggle under there with the shoulders. As you push the tail forward and lift the hips up, you're dropping the knee down. Your gaze is quiet, maybe eyes are closed so you see more from the inside out. Follow your steady breath. Remember, relax what you can, your posture muscles. Those are muscles that when you have them engaged, you want to make sure that you're not unconsciously clenching something out of habit. Let's bring the knee back into chest, kick the leg back up, rebend into, actually we can lower the leg and then rebend it and take the body up onto the toe tips and melt the spine back down. This time when you find the earth, with the hips, with the heels, let them go wide to the sides of the mat. Let your arms go wide to the sides of the mat. First, drop your knees together. Hold for a breath. And always pause the video if you want to hold for 2 or 3 breaths. Put the knees back up to the sky and windshield wiper knees right. Your head looks left. Back through center, you windshield wiper knees left, your head looks right. So just kind of iron out the poses. and just find the peace in the moment. And then when knees come back into chest, give yourself a hug and squeeze. You can bring your head up towards your knees. You can stay laying on the mat. If you lay on the mat, you can rock side to side and massage out your spine. Every breath is a gift. Enjoy each and every breath you're taking. And our bridge pose does so many wonderful things for you, and I'll tell you about it as soon as we get up. Let's come up to seated. I like that baby boat to get there. It's always a nice engagement for core. Lengthen legs long. You can use a block with this one. And the block for Paschimottanasana, which is just a forward fold, your thigh crease hinges you forward. And this might be as far as you go right here. But notice I have a long straight back. Instead of trying to get all rounded and down to my chest to my thighs and my nose to my knees, no. I want to find this pose long through the back. So if I use my block and I kick through my heels, you can also put blocks or something under your knees so that you don't have such a stretch of the legs. Many people don't have the hamstrings to be able to stretch their legs long. So find that for yourself. You could use one of your blocks under your knees. Your other block lifts high. You take your forward fold now after all those back bends. So my forward fold, I'm pressing my tail way back behind me. That's key. Every forward fold, you want to push that tail way back. That thigh crease is your hinge. It's not a rounding of your back. It's a lengthening and a lifting up out. So maybe this block is going to be restful for your forehead. Maybe you take those hips and walk them back, right, left, come half lift on that, and then fold a little deeper. Maybe you've got the flexibility to put the block under the soles of the feet and push the soles into the block as you kind of just softly anchor your fingers around the outer edges. Breathe in, breathe out. So your bridge pose, as you noticed, was really great for flexibility in the spine, the neck, the shoulders, and chest. Flexibility, and then it stimulates the nervous system, aids in digestion, osteoporosis, because you're putting weight into the feet and driving it into the hips and low back, which is awesome. Opens the chest, the neck, the shoulders. Stimulates the thyroid gland and the parathyroid glands. It increases your lung capacity. If you have any menstrual discomfort, relieves that. Relieves high blood pressure, asthma, and sinusitis. Reduces fatigue and anxiety. Rejuvenates your tired legs and stabilizes your hips by working the gluteus medius. So as we come up now from Paschimottanasana, let's bring ourselves into a nice transition to standing. So all of your sun salutations, we call it a half sun salutation when you rise up to the sky with two arms. And then we can change this to bring our hands to our low back and put those heels of the hands on the hips and the elbows behind you. And you can push the hips downward, or you can do a saguaro arm, or if you're ready, you can go up into a V shape. Every one of these is going to do the same thing. So pick what's ever comfortable for you as you lift up high. You take your arms where you maximize your back bend. I'm going to push my hips down, open up my chest, open up to the sky with looking upward as my back bend is happening because of gravity helping me. My counter on this is my abdominals pushing forward and my hips pushing forward. When I come back up to vertical, I take my arms wide. I take a nice bend in the knees, and the thigh crease is going to hinge me forward and down. There's my forward fold. Hands on blocks, shins or thighs if you're not touching the ground. Then you take a a stretch with the spine, and you lift up halfway. Notice the length I gather in my spine with the crown forward. So this is a nice counter for the back bend, forward bend. I get a stretch, and then I lower it back down. Now I'm going to move to the center of my mat. And this is kind of the pinnacle of the shapes that we're going to take today. So it's called dancer's pose. And many of you maybe don't even do dancer's pose or don't like it. You can always put one hand on the wall. I don't want to mess up the mirrors here. I'm not going to do that, but you could put one hand on the wall as you grab the other leg. So it would look like that. And then you can push into the wall to kick your leg back. I'm going to do it standing in the middle of the mat because we're going to do a couple shapes after it as well. So get yourself in a nice Tadasana, long standing shape. Roll to the toes, roll to the heels, back and forth a few times. And maybe I should turn this way. I'm going to start with my right arm. Palm is up, elbow is in. And I reach back for those shoelaces that we grabbed when we did our back bends. Notice you have to pull your knee out to get to these shoelaces. Then you tuck that knee back in and you squeeze the two knees and thighs together. This may be plenty for you to stay here. Maybe lift your hand to your heart. Maybe put your hand on that wall in front of you, or reach it up as high as your eyes. From this position, start to move your right foot back into your hand and start the kick. You focus your eyes forward, you breathe, you kick, and you reach. Remember, you kicked the shoelaces into the hand, you kicked the back shin to the wall behind you. You find wherever you are, you move slowly, you move peacefully. You are in a nice, wonderful back bend called dancer's pose. Even if you don't come into this, now bring it back slowly. Even if you don't come that deep, if you stay here, you're already in a back bend. Let's lower our hand away from that leg, bring your knee up high, and gently step forward. We've got a short stance, we've got even hips. So we'll counter that here, that back bend that was so awesome. It's like the archer. I'll explain that in just a second. We'll take this pose, we'll lift our arms up. And as we hinge forward, this one you can either lengthen out of the back, or this one, if you're going to bring nose to knee, you can round it. So if you're going to lengthen it, you can just take it halfway down and lengthen it. Or if you're going to come to the floor, choose to put your blocks down, round your nose towards your knee and round your back. This pose can be done in a couple of different ways. This is one with a rounded back, or one with a longer straight reach of the back. So what's best for you? Breathe in, breathe out. And then softly leave hands down. Take your runner's lunge to just stretch it out. Right leg stays forward, knee over ankle. You're up on those left toes, or your knee is down on the mat and flattened out. Pulling right hip back, left hip forward. If you're in the lunge, or not in the lunge, excuse me, if you need to get back, knee off of the ground in the lunge, pick it up, and we're going to walk center the mat. And I'm going to turn around the other way. You got two sets of toes pointing inward, and you're in a forward fold. This is called a wide-legged forward fold. You want to anchor through these outer blades all the way up the outer legs. Energize. The inner legs are going to stretch. You're in a wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands a bit forward, stretch it out. So you're in a forward fold, and it's a pretty safe one for most people. Let the chin drop into chest, let the head hang down. Some of these inversions aren't as safe for others, but this one's pretty decent. All righty, we're going to bring our hands back. Gentle bend in the knees and softly roll this all the way up. Hands will come behind you. Interlace the fingers, drop the knuckles, pull the shoulders back, and then hinge forward, navel in. Hinge again, all the way down, but suck that navel in a second time and start to bring it down. Take knuckles over your head so that you're lifting all the way up to the sky. Let the head drop. So again, forward folding, but in a standing position. Gently roll it back up. You can bend your knees to get there, hands to hips as you heel toe back together. And we'll do this dancer pose on side 2. So you have your body into Tadasana, nice and tall. You let go of what just happened and you start all over. You come up with that left arm ready to receive your foot. Your right hand can be at your heart or it can be on a wall or mirror in front of you. Grab a hold of that foot from the great toe side and then pull the 2 knees together. Breathe in, breathe out. Remember, you may want to stay right here and notice that you're using the strength of the kick, the push of the resistance to make the shape. Remember, all of these type of back bends where you grab a leg, you're pushing away and lengthening out. That is the pose. Then you don't have any other work to do but breathe. So you kick, the reach happens, the breath work happens, and you find the shape. Gorgeous dancer's pose. The blood moves from one side of the body all the way to the other from this compression, from this extension. Then you softly bring it back, 2 hands to heart, float the knee forward, step forward, and find that soft hip width, short stance for your body. Take arms wide, lift them up to the sky. Remember, we have 2 choices. We either lengthen out of the waist and come halfway down and stretch here, or we round it down a little bit more through the back so that we drop our chin into our chest. We get that Jalandhara Bandha that helps with the thyroid and parathyroid, and I'm going to lose my microphone on that one. And we drop our nose to our knee. You can bend that front knee as much as you need to find that shape. Breathe in, breathe out. And slowly start to place hands to blocks. Move that right leg back. You're in that runner's lunge position. And then we'll move to the center of the mat. I'm going to turn around again so that I can see you guys here. And I got a better view of things, and you have a better view of things. Toes in, heels out, a gentle bend in the knees, and we're going to roll this all the way up again. Bring those arms up. Bring them back behind you. Interlace the fingers, drop the shoulders down, lengthen through the arms. And then as we forward fold this, all the way down, we come halfway and lift the arms up off the low back. Instead of going down the middle with this, we're going to go over to the right leg, nose to knee, chin to chest. We can get a lot of work through other parts of our body while we do our forward folding. Come through center, take it to the left. We can get a lot of work through our back bending through other parts of the body as well. Center it up, hold here. Bring your bound arms to your low back. Gently release them and start to bend into knees and roll yourself all the way back up. 2 arms high to the sky. Look up, reach up, hands drop to heart, heel toe feet back together. And I think it's time we come back down to the mat. So let's move ourselves to the front edge of the mat. We'll take that half sun salutation one time here, reach arms up. This time I'll do a 90-degree arm. And I'll reach my chest up. I'll pull my shoulders back. I'll drop my hips down and counter abdominals and hips with this gravity of the back bend. Inhale, back up, take arms wide, bend your knees, thigh crease the hinge down, and let's take our half lift. We were down in our forward fold. We stretch long. And then let's come down onto our belly one more time. For finishing up in locust pose, we'll start with our palms flat down by our sides, forehead on the mat, great toes coming together, ankles coming together. Keep your hands down, keep the tops of your shoelaces down. Fire up your thighs, push your pubic bone down, engage those legs, and let's gently lift from chest. The neck and head follow. You're pushing into the ground with these hands. You're pushing into the ground with your feet, with your thighs. And this is a tiny lift, but this is good. We don't jut our chin out. We're just looking gently forward towards the floor in front of us. And then we move back down. We take a nice, slow, easy breath here. Keep your hands down by your sides, palms down. This time your chest, your head, and your legs are going to lift. So let's start with pushing into the hands, pushing into the feet. Let's lift chest. Let's lift neck. Let's lift head. Push with the hands hard. Let's lengthen out to lift the legs. Breathe here. Push with the hands. Legs long. Don't worry how high, just long. Come back down. Good. Shake out your tail a little. Just relax. Turn head to one side and then to the other. Palms flat, push into the ground. Legs flat, push into the ground. One more. Shoulders back, pull them down, back and together. Fire the thighs, push pubic bone down. Chest, neck, and head are coming up. Legs are joining. Arms are lifting. Breathe. Maybe the hands touch the thighs on the sides. Maybe we can open it out wide and pull it back together. Open it wide, pull it back together. Last one, open it wide and pull it back together. Softly lay back down. Turn the palms up, turn the toes in, heels out. Head turns to the right, shake out your tail. Head turns to the left, shake out your tail. And then we're moving into what's called rabbit's pose. So curl the toes under, grab 2 knees together. Heels are together, knees are together. Body comes tall, reach up high. Reach behind you and grab your heels. And as you grab your heels, you tuck your chin to your chest, round your spine. This is a huge flexion shape. We deserve this right now. Crown of the head on the mat, not forehead, crown. Notice how close my forehead is to my knees. I grab hold of from the outer ankles to the heels, and I start to lift my hips up, up, up. Notice there is no tension. There is no weight in my head. Pull those heels with your hands.
Draw those ankles together. Broaden out the shoulders. There's no weight in my head at all. Nice rounded spine. And then softly move back down to your heels. Bring yourself up seated. We're finding ourselves back down to the mat. Nice and long. 2 arms, palms together at heart. Breathe in, breathe out. Gently move rounded belly, suck it in, round the shoulders, chin to chest, lower to the earth, keep the heels down. And then take your body over to the right side of your mat. So when you pull your right knee into the chest, wrap your fingers around that right shin or thigh, under the thigh area, hammy. You're pulling toward the armpit. Then you release the bind and guide that right leg to the left with that left hand, and the right arm sweeps out like a wing all the way out to the side. You look over your shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Soften and breathe. Follow breath. Notice your body. Relax any tension that's gripping and holding you. Those are habits. And right knee will come back into chest. It'll get another squeeze toward the armpit. Kick through 2 heels, lengthen them long, and then work your body to the left side of the mat so that you're ready to pull left knee into chest. Again, wrap hands, both of them around the shin, pulling toward that left armpit, or go under at the hamstring. Taking the right hand to the outer left leg, we hike our hip underneath us from the right, moving that left knee to the right, and sweep that right arm down to the outer thigh muscle and the left arm out to the side. So you're working to get the shoulder down on the mat. The hip can be elevated on a block if you'd like. Just get that shoulder down and underneath you. Get that shoulder to pull towards your waistband. Can you follow your breath in and out? Can you feel the beauty of the practice? Back bending and forward bending, they pair up beautifully. Your body enjoys that movement. Just be mindful if you have any disc issues with forward bending, and get all of that cleared through your doctor before you take a practice. Come back into center with that left knee drawn into chest. It gets a hug and squeeze. 2 legs come together. You wrap your arms around. You find that attitude of gratitude. So we used our posture, we used our breath, and we used our open attitude. And when you wake up every single morning, your attitude begins with the first opening of your eyes. So before you open those eyes, think about thanking the higher being that remembered to wake you up that day. And that will start your day off wonderfully as you work yourself into your final resting pose called Shavasana. Take your arms and legs out wide and consciously move into the shape. Snuggle the shoulders under you again. And notice that you have balanced the front side and the back side of your body with your forward bending and back bending. And as you lie here, release any tension or tightness you might feel through any part of your being. And know that back bends are really good for the disc issues. I mentioned
talking to the doctor about the forward bending, but usually doctors enjoy the back bending because it helps the disc move back into place. Most of them are set up that the back bend is therapeutic for them. So think about that. Besides helping with discs, back bends improve your posture. So you want to get longer, you want to get taller, you want strength in your spine. Back bends are good for scoliosis, for kyphosis, spondylosis, slip discs. The back bends will open your chest, it'll increase your elasticity, helps firm your abdominals, your upper arms, and your thighs, and a nice stress release. It's a very energizing pose, and when you can energize, you can release your stress. So just always know that you are so able to do more than you give yourself credit for. So enjoy the back bending, enjoy the pushing of the resistance of the foot kicking into the hand and the shin kicking away, and make your pose just because you're breathing, just because you are focusing your eyes, just because you're you. So wiggling into fingers and toes as you lengthen your breath. Wriggle into the jaw, turn the head side to side. Softly wake yourself up, pulling your mantra in with your next in-breath. Bathe yourself in that wonderful, glorious breath that's filled with positivity. That breath is moving into all those areas that you just opened with your back bends and your forward bends. And then roll to one side, take yourself in fetal position. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat and feel the sits bones ground. Feel the long length you've created in your spine. When your spine is healthy, you feel so much better because it really is the center point of everything you do. Two palms will come together in honor. Two palms will come together with trust, with gratitude, and with love. And know that I miss all of you, and I love seeing the ones who are coming into classes, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon as well. Enjoy the videos and get stronger, longer, taller, and just smile a lot while we're separated here, but we'll be back together soon. We'll end our practice one chant of Om in harmony. In breath. The healthy spine in me salutes the healthy spine in you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you, yogis.